Fran, when did you decide to put in Melson, and what kind of, you got a double-double for you, so I was pretty happy about that.
He had a couple really good days of practice, and he'd been playing really well. And like I said, you know, I don't always like to make changes when a guy's playing really well, where he is, in the role that he's in. But I felt like he had earned the right to start, so I put him in the starting lineup.
What upset you the most toward the end of the game? Your team had no rhythm, and they were.
Well, we didn't execute. You know, and it's not easy, Rick. You know, you're trying to protect the lead. You don't want to quick shoot the ball. We missed a couple guys under the basket against the press. You know, Aaron's 3 out of the corner when Melson's wide open. We can't shoot that shot. Those are the kinds of things that upset me. Okay. Our execution when we were trying to run clock and then run a set late in the clock, that wasn't very good. And then, you know, we turned the ball over in the backcourt against the press with 4 timeouts. Can't do that. You find yourself in that position, you got to call timeout. So those are the things that hopefully we learned tonight.
Coach, what was a little different having Wasabi in the starting lineup compared to last
Well, you know, it gave us a bigger lineup. I mean, this is a team that rebounds, a very physical team. They rebound the ball really well. So I think a bigger lineup was effective for us tonight.
How did you feel Anthony was able to respond?
He was great. I mean, I thought he was spectacular in both halves. Hit a huge 3. I got to the free throw line, you know, engineered the offense and played pretty good defense.
How did he take, like,
he was fine. Yeah, he's a pro that way. Yeah.
Aaron had a pretty good night. I mean,
Who?
Aaron.
Yep.
Career high in points, 10 of 11 from the free throw line. What do you think he brought? I mean,
you know, he played tonight with great energy. I mean, I wouldn't have said that we'd be able to play him 34 minutes. You know, he seems to have been tiring a little bit to where I need to play him 28. But we just felt like he was affecting the game at both ends. And we just needed to leave him out there, and then when we took him out, time to put him back in. He was terrific.
You got off that slow start, and then he scored 3 straight baskets. When your defense kind of keyed your transition game,
Yeah,
and you in that 14-0 run, that kind of changed the whole game around.
Yeah, it changed everything. I mean, it was important, I think, to get right back in it after you fall behind 8-1. I think it was a 16-2 run there. So, again, you're right. It was defense and transition.
Did you stick with your kind of the starting lineup a little bit longer right out of the gate to kind of give them some time to get
Well, that, and I thought Woody was playing really well, and they were playing well together. It was kind of a slow game in that period of time, so it wasn't like I felt like anybody was really tired. I'm looking to see if anybody's winded. I didn't think anybody was winded, so I did.
Woodbury, do you feel he's beginning to progress more now? Since
I thought he was terrific tonight, you know, and I thought about putting him back in when we were struggling and rebounding the ball. And they were going off the dribble so much that I went with the smaller lineup there.
do you feel like that having him alongside Melson kind of takes a little bit of pressure off him, you know, offensively, just because Melson's so physical and he's been through the wars before?
You know, I think they play well together. You know, what you're seeing Woodbury do, I mean, he affected the game in a lot of different ways. Defensively, he had a couple buckets, we had a bucket and a couple free throws, but he was passing the ball really well. He was effective when they were in the zone. He was really effective as a feeder. He was moving the ball, and ball screens, he was, you know, not many 7-1 guys are out there showing on ball screens, hustling back to the front. His post defense was phenomenal. He was outstanding tonight.
I'm sorry.
Sorry?
You now hit the road for 2 games in 4 days. What are you looking for your team to? Where do you need to improve on? What do you need to do between now and then?
What we need to do is I think play a little bit better again offensively. I mean, that's been a little bit of a struggle for us. We hit some more jumpers tonight. That's good to see. But our execution is still a little bit off. It's closer, and they're working at it. They're trying. It's got to be better.
Is that basically the screening or the spacing?
It's a combination of everything. Yeah, when you're running offense, it's 5 guys working in unison, looking for certain things depending upon how they're playing it, making the right reads, and you know, drive it, don't drive it, whatever.
Is this a lot of things that you can stick with?
I think so. Yeah, I mean that's my plan right now.
Did Josh's shot look more comfortable?
I thought every one of those were going in.
Yeah.
I mean, he made 8 yesterday in practice. 8. You know, I feel so bad for him because the first one looked really good, and then when he drilled the second one, I figured he's on his way. And then we were finding him, you know, and then I feel bad because then I feel like every time I take him out, it puts pressure on him, you know, and I want to just leave him in there. But, you know, I'm rotating fresh personnel. I mean, they don't play as many guys. We wanted to keep fresh bodies out there to put pressure on them.
Helps to have the free throw shooting tonight.
Especially, you know, in a game like this, you know, where they were fouling so much.
But that should be good for the road then.
Yeah, no question. You know, and we're a good free throw shooting team. You know, in the last couple of games, I think we're not typical of who we are.
Coach, you mentioned that you don't like to normally switch up the starting lineup, but when you decided to go with Basabe, were you feeling confident with it, or were you a little hesitant?
No, I was good with it. Yeah, you know, I'd been considering it for a game or two, and I thought he was tremendous at Purdue. You know, he really was. And again, he comes right back with a double-double, so I'm proud of him.
How positive is that he didn't foul? Because before, you know, he'd start, he'd get 2 fouls real quick, and you have to bench him. He never got into the game, where this way, at least he was able to stay in the game.
Exactly, and he made his free throws, because they're going to foul you. Around the basket, they're going to foul you. So you got to be able to be strong and get fouled and then make them.
Speaking of which, coming up again, I know you just ended this game, but you know, on Sunday against Minnesota, you got probably most physical, best rebounding team in the Big Ten. He's going to have to really.
Yeah, he and Woody. I mean, but everybody. I mean, you know, Zach and Gabe. I mean, I thought Gabe was really good in the first half. I put him in. Probably a difficult time for him. You know, I probably should have put him in earlier, but like I said, I mean, I left Woody in because he was playing so well.
Did you like this game? Help you learn how to close out games in the future?
Well, you know, we for the most part we handled the press. We had the 1 turnover. We made our free throws. All right, so those are 2 good things. We didn't rebound as well as we should have, and we didn't execute as well as we should have. So those are 2 bad things. So, you know, if you do 3 bad, then you lose. So at least we did enough to get home. That's good, but you know, let's be realistic about how good we have to be in those situations. Because at the time we were up 14, I think. You know, what if you're up 5? Different story.
Coach, what has Basabe done in the last 6 games or so that he's been so consistent that, you know, you had to consider maybe putting him in the starting lineup?
Well, you know, he's been very efficient. You know, he makes his free throws. He sticks his nose on the glass. He gives you a low post presence. And defensively, he's just so far ahead of where he used to be. He used to hurt us defensively. You know, so, you know, Rick points out he was fouling. Well, because he was in the wrong place a lot. That's why he was fouling. Now he's in the right place. He's seeing the game, and he's affecting the game at both ends. And what you're seeing is a guy, as a result of that, is more confident in himself, which is great.
You've seen a lot more improvement from his freshman or sophomore year this season.
Yeah. I mean, and you're seeing a lot more consistency without question. Because even his freshman year, when he was putting up big numbers, a lot of those numbers were because I couldn't take him out. You know, but he's not making the mistakes he made in the last 2 years.